So a couple weeks ago, I posted my experience for my delivery day of my Cybertruck, as well as what happened on my first service appointment. And in this video, I'm going to give you guys an update on what happened on my second service appointment, what got fixed, what didn't, and why. And hopefully this video will give you some insight onto why some of the little things that we bring up that we want fixed on our Cybertruck don't actually get fixed when it's in the service center. So let me take you around my Cybertruck and I'm going to show you some of the things that didn't get fixed and what did. So one of the things on the Cybertruck that I thought was a little bit different from when I first saw the truck was these little gaskets along the cantrail. Now this is the passenger side cantrail, and you can see that the gasket goes all the way from the frunk all the way up to the top of the truck. But if we take a look at the other side where the windshield wiper is, you can see that the gasket stops and it's actually like just open. And I don't remember ever seeing that little nut down there. I could have swore that the gasket actually went all the way down, but Tesla Service is telling me that this is the way that it looks. So if you guys are wondering about that, this is, I guess, how it's supposed to be, just kind of a wide open gap like that. Another thing that I brought my truck in for was a roof liner here. If we look at the driver's side, you can see that it's nice and flush with the glass on the roof here, but on the passenger side, there's actually quite a bit of a gap on the passenger side. You can see I can kind of push this up here, so it's not flush, but again, Tesla said that everything looks fine and that they're not going to replace it. So I guess it's just something that I'm gonna have to live with. Another thing that I ended up bringing in my truck for the second time was the tailgate cap here was a little loose. They stated that they replaced it or fixed some of the clips. I also mentioned that it was slightly misaligned. You can see the top corner here is coming up a little bit more than the side applique. So they replaced the top cover again, or they replaced the clips, and now it doesn't really press in, which is nice, but they didn't fix the alignment. Now I happened to actually talk to one of the lead technicians, and the thing that he said was for the amount that it's actually crooked, what they would have to do is totally undo the back tailgate as well as some of the side of the truck just to make a minor adjustment. And it seems like it's too much trouble. It would be too much trouble to fix a slight alignment like that. And that's the reason why they did not fix it. So pretty much anything on the truck, if it's too minor and there's too much effort to go into fixing it, they're just going to tell you that it's in spec. So it's not horrible. I would like it to be totally aligned, because if we look at the passenger side, you can see that it's pretty much perfect, but it's a little misaligned over on my side. So again, it's just too much trouble to go through to try to fix something little like that. So it doesn't seem like they're going to do it. Another thing I brought my truck in for were the side appliques, kind of up by my cantrail. You can see how warped it is. It kind of bulges out and then lays back down flat, and then there's that big bulge up at the top there. I originally took it in because I told them that the applique was actually coming off the roof, which it looks to me like it is. It's lifted up in portions and it's not in others. But they told me that nothing is coming up off the truck. And I talked to the lead technician again, and he said that they checked to make sure that it's not coming off the truck, but they did not do anything about the fact that it looks warped. So I'm taking my truck in again for a third service appointment, and they're going to replace both of the appliques because it's a little bit warped on both the sides of the truck. You can see there's a bulge there, it lays flat, and then another bulge. So they're going to replace both of those appliques, and I'm going to come back again for a third update to let you guys know what they did with that. And then for the last and biggest issue that I had with my Cybertruck was the fact that I had a huge crack on my windshield. Now, when the service technicians looked at my truck's windshield, they kind of came back and told me that they discovered that there were some rock fragments in the windshield, and they said that it wouldn't be covered under warranty because it was due to an outside force. Now, whenever I was driving my truck, I don't ever remember a rock big enough to do that kind of damage hitting my windshield. Something like that you would definitely hear hitting your windshield pretty hard, but at no time did I ever do that. So I'm not quite sure exactly what or when it happened to my truck, but it's not going to be covered under the warranty. And if any of you out there ever need to get your windshield replaced on your Cybertruck, it's $2,600. That's including tax and labor. It's a huge amount of money to replace a huge windshield, and I don't have that, and I'm sure a lot of you don't have $2,600 that you can just spend to replace your windshield. I also didn't want to involve my insurance because it's still a $1,000 deductible, and I didn't want my insurance to go up. So what I opted to do was I took my truck to a local windshield repair, and they filled in the crack and also drilled a hole at the end of the crack to try to stop it from going even further down my windshield. It ended up being about $120 to do that, and even though they didn't fill in all of the crack, it still should have stopped the crack from expanding. And it's definitely a lot cheaper option than replacing the whole windshield. So if it holds, great. If not, it was only about $120 to try to fix. And in the end, if it doesn't work, I will just have to bite the bullet and maybe contact my insurance or something to try to get the windshield replaced. Also, the biggest portion of the crack isn't filled in totally. So I kind of had an idea of a way to try to keep moisture and things from getting inside the crack and creating a larger crack later on, because I do live here in Colorado, and if moisture gets in there and freezes and expands, it could create a bigger crack or another crack in the windshield. So what I tried to do is I had an extra tempered glass screen protector laying around from my Galaxy S25 Ultra. It's a fairly large tempered glass screen protector. Anyway, I just laid that over the top of the crack to try to keep the moisture from getting inside that crack, and it seems to be doing a pretty good job. It stuck down really well on the windshield, and it also blends in fairly well. You can't really notice it on your windshield unless I think you're really looking for it. It is kind of a crazy idea. I don't know what it's going to do or if it's going to help the truck, but I don't think it could hurt. So the one tip that I can give you is if you're putting in a service request for your truck, be as detailed as possible, because when I put in the service requests for the appliques, I put that it was actually lifting up off the truck, but I didn't put in that they were warped. I kind of thought that maybe they might have been just lifting off the truck and that was causing an issue, but from what Tesla said, the appliques were not lifting off the truck. They were very secured, but they didn't address the warping. So if you're going to be putting in a service request, put in, again, as much detail as possible and address every little single thing, because if you don't, they might not address it. So that's it for my service update on appointment number 2. Again, appointment number 3 is right around the corner. And again, I will be updating you guys on what the appliques look like once they've replaced them. And if you guys are interested in learning about more accessories for the Cybertruck, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by hitting the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.